a showcase for the depth and diversity of the northern part of India and in pursuit of a berth amongst the Power Eight, a compelling narrative for North's poise and grace, metronomic certainty, and powerful aspirations. 6 participants are here, which today will funnel and evenly chisel down to 2 to progress to the national final showdown. Welcome wherever you are to another region, another round, another rendezvous with the 12th Udaan Business Leadership Quiz. It's organized by Steel Authority of India Limited, National HRD Network Ranchi Chapter and National HRD Network, and brought to you in association with our sponsor, IILM University. East, check. West, check. North will be checked into today, and guiding you through this journey is me, Ajay Punya. Playing with confidence, performing with courage, and marking their presence with consistency are our qualifiers today. 5 of them were in the North Zone final last year as well, and the one switch that we made isn't a newbie either. So, an almost repeat lineup from last year, but shuffled order as participant 1, zonal champion 2 years in a row, national runner-up 2 years in a row. He's hungry for the title. He is back. This is Ayush Avasti from EY. Next up, in the national final 2 years ago, but last year, he lost the zonal round to his friend and teammate Impaired quizzes. But this year, perhaps he'd like to even that count with his friend. This is Anand Raj from SAIL Bokaro. And now for that friend I spoke of, few unfortunate strategic decisions cost him some valuable points in the national final last year. Here to right a few wrongs is Subhasish Kispota from SAIL Bokaro. In the zonal final the year before last, had a forgettable outing, and the last year he came agonizingly close to qualification as one of the reserves. He's here now, but his destination is further ahead. This is Rishikant Gupta from SAIL Bokaro. Consistently in the zonal final, but that's been a hurdle he struggled to steer past. Perhaps now is when he navigates onwards to the final. This is Rohan Khanna from Baku. And finally, third in the zonal final last year, in this group of death zonal final is another strong competitor. This is Rahul Ranjan Panda from SAIL Bokaro. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Like last year, it's EY versus Barclays versus an organization that churns out champion quizzers by the dozen, SAIL. It's guaranteed test of mental aptitude and methodical ability. Despite the occasion, despite the preparation, there needs to be no rush. And so I'd like to welcome the bedrock of Udaan, Shri Atanu Mukherjee, GM in charge academics and acting CGM, HRD, MTI SAIL. Sir, nice to have you with us. Please.
Thank you, Ajay Punia sir. Good evening to all the participants of North Zonal Final of Udaan 2022 12th Business Leadership Quiz. Quizmaster Sri Ajay Punia sir, NHRD Regional President North and the President HR Group JK Organization Sri Prem Singh sir, and the representative from NHRD Network and the team MTI. It is indeed a great privilege for me to address the budding quizzer who have reached here after a grilling of 2 rounds of prelims. There are many who could not make it to the zonal final, so my congratulations to them for their commendable performance. Udaan Business Leadership Quiz is a flagship event of Management Training Institute Ranchi, SAIL and NHRD Ranchi chapter. Udaan provides the opportunity to grow, learn and visualize the big picture for taking up the leadership role in future. Quizzing, as you all know, is a very powerful medium for self-development and promoting the learning culture in the organization. I must congratulate Quizmaster and Rijwan Saab, coordinator of Udaan 2022 and team MTI and all those persons associated for their sustainable efforts which has established Udaan as a brand for quizzing. With this, I would urge all the finalists to display the finest quality of quizzing in the zonal finals and make a statement for the national final. All our best wishes to you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Over to Ajay sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. And now, Mr. Prem Singh, President, Group HR, JK Organization, and NHRDN Regional President, North. Sir, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you all can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Well, a very warm welcome to each one of you. I must say that quizzing is a very, very exciting journey of learning. While one learns quite a lot, it is also very important to notice that one also builds a very important network of colleagues through this experience. Uh, I must also say that the people who have come to this level are already champions in a way because they have already come to the final after competing successfully in the previous rounds. So my compliments to all of you. All of you are champions as far as the North zone is concerned. And since we know that only few can progress to the final round at the national level, we wish the very best to everyone. May the best of each one come to the fore today, and may the best people win today in the final round of North Zone, so that at the national level we come out with the finest of the talent which can be showcased to the entire fraternity, not only for celebrating the success but also for sharing as a best practice. All the best, my friends, and my compliments to the organizing team, in particular to Ranchi chapter, Dr. Kamakshi Ratan and her team, and also the quiz master, Mr. Ajay Punia. Mr. Punia, you have been doing a terrific job. All the very best. You have been making a difference to the youngsters and future leaders of the country. All the best. May the best win. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Right. Their encouragement will surely motivate our participants to give their best. As elated as we are to bring this competition to you year after year, it will be an evening that does end in disappointment for a few of you. 4 of you will bid goodbye to this event, but not before you collect a cool cash prize of rupees 5,000 each for being the zonal finalists. And 2 of you, however, will have the privilege of hanging out with me some more in the national final. The presence in the national final comes with a prize of rupees 25,000 for the winner and rupees 15,000 for the runner-up today. And lest I miss out, to our audience who are watching us, alongside cheering our favorite contestants, you can participate and win some prizes too. On Twitter, what you have to do is follow National HRD Network at NHRDN, listen to the audience question that follows every round, reply with your answer to at NHRDN on the same tweeted question. You'll see the same question being tweeted there. You must respond with your answer, try to make it correct, and also please include hashtag Udaan 2022. And there are, of course, gift vouchers for the winner, the fastest correct answer. Right, that was the last line of the foreword before we begin and undertake a journey of 4 rounds. Opening the first chapter for the North Zone final round is our first round. It's called Crossword. 5 questions, all on the buzzer in a crossword. 15 seconds of time after I'm done reading the question, by which time you must hit the buzzer if you're interested in giving the answer. 3 answers per question permitted in chronological order of hitting buzzers. First answer gets 10, second answer gets 7, third answer gets 4. There's a flat -5 for a wrong answer on the buzzer. So the fact that it's a crossword means that, you know, as we play along, we will reveal more and more alphabets for each of these answers. And of course, you will know the number of letters in the right answer. So you work out the permutation combination in your head and try to give me the right answer to each of the questions. All right, so we'll start. I'll first show you what the crossword that needs to be solved is. We will go in order. We'll go to one down, 2 across, 3 down, 4 across, and finally end it with 5 across. So we'll start with our first one. Good luck, everybody, here at the North Zone final. Here's your first question for, this is going to be 1 down. 10 on the first attempt, 7 on the second, 4 on the third. Here's my question. The image of a musical instrument is the trademark of a certain brand since the 1870s. when the government of the country wanted to use the instrument as its national emblem in the 1920s, it had to laterally invert the instrument to avoid a clash with the brand's trademark. Which brand is this? On the buzzer first is Rohan from Barclays.
Guinness.
And what would that musical instrument be?
The Boru harp, I learned.
Is perfect on all counts. That's the answer. Making the first dart from distance is Rohan. This is indeed Guinness. You can see their harp on the left, and you can see how it's laterally inverted in the national emblem of Ireland on the right. That's very well done, Rohan. You begin this quiz with a perfect tenor. So right answer, 10 points to you. And we'll place Guinness in the crossword as we go to across. You can see an I visible. Right, so fourth letter is an I. Here is my question. Which e-commerce company that now uses a contracted version of the name that it was originally founded as is primarily export-oriented and not so much for its home market? As of May 22, it was the top shopping app in over 50 countries, including the US, and the most popular fashion website in the world. At reportedly over $50 billion revenue, it is said to be the tech industry's most valuable private startup. On the buzzer is Rohan again. Yes, Rohan.
Shine. SHEIN.
And I said it's a contracted version of the name that it was originally founded as. What was the original name that it was founded as?
Not so sure about that. I didn't read that.
Actually, you got it wrong with the pronunciation itself. So if you get the pronunciation correct, perhaps you can work it out. It's not pronounced.
Maybe Shein or something, right?
Yeah, it's pronounced as Shein, and so it's a contracted version of She Inside. Right. So that's the answer. That's well done, Rohan. Back-to-back answers. That's another 10-pointer for you. That's a good answer. Another one for 10 points to Rohan. Right. Let's place that on the crossword. We go to 3 down now. Here is my question for 3 down. Here's my question. In an attempt to standardize the imagery used on various fintech platforms in India, a group that represents majority of non-bank companies in India has launched this project named after the Sanskrit word for icons. What is it called? Pretty apt, pretty fittingly, because they were creating icons for standardizing the various imagery used on fintech platforms. They named it after the Sanskrit word for icons, and looks like the English to Sanskrit conversion dictionary in everybody's brain isn't quite working as fast as I would have thought. And I'm guessing there would be a facepalm moment when they realize what the answer is. The answer that I was looking for, the Sanskrit word, is the project Pratima. Right, so this is a project Pratima. That's the Sanskrit for icons. No points to anybody. Nobody could do the translation. So we will move on to 4 across. Ends with N. There's an R in the middle. Here's my question. Since it is highly explosive, it must be stored and transported in secure fuel cells, which are expensive and could cause serious damage if anything malfunctions. One solution to the problem is chemistry, a reaction that converts it into formic acid, which can be stored easily and safely. However, the catalysts involved are often expensive rare metals. Thus, a research team from Frankfurt has proposed this conversion using genetically engineered bacteria. What is it that I'm speaking of? That is the most promising, said to be the most promising route towards a carbon neutral economy. On the buzzer is Anand from Sale Bokaro.
I think it's hydrogen.
Hydrogen. So hydrogen, you can convert it into formic acid, and now you can do it with a genetically engineered bacteria. That is correct. That's the answer. That's well done, Anand. Good answer there. Gets you a 10 on the buzzer. Very good. So 2 out of 6 participants have opened their account on 4 questions. We will move on to our final one of round 1. Let me place hydrogen and go to 5 across. There's an M in the middle. Here's my question. As per the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations, AFL-CIO, a federation of multiple labor unions, in the list of highest paid CEOs among S&P 500 companies for 2021, at number 1 is Peter Kern of Expedia. At number 2 is Andrew Jassy of Amazon. But who is last on the list with $0? On the buzzer is Subhasish.
I'm guessing Elon Musk.
You're just guessing.
Yeah.
You had no clue about this.
Yeah.
You're only working it out from the crossword clues, is it?
Crossword. Yeah.
But you had no clue that he draws zero salary. That is correct. It is indeed Elon Musk. That's well done. So this is how the crossword helps. You know, you even if you don't know the answer, at least with 1 or 2 alphabets here, there, with the number of letters, not a suspense anymore. So you know what are your possible options, limit them down. And as Subhasish did, he gets a 10 for that. Doesn't matter whether he really knew about this trivia or this fact or not. As long as you can give me the right answer, I will give you 10 points. Very good. So amidst the trials and tribulations, among those who compete for the zonal crown, their start is serene and unblemished, no negative yet, but will perfection be maintained against competitors for whom the same can very well be said? We'll find out as we continue with round 2. Right, 1 question to each participant. This is Challengers Deep. We will go in order, so you don't have to hit the buzzer on every question, at least not on your own question. The remaining 5 you can. Right, so there's 1 question to every participant. We'll go in order. 10 seconds for others to present a challenge to you on the buzzer. In those 10 seconds, please do not give me an answer. You can just think about it, let it ferment in your mind. And after the 10 seconds are up, and if there is somebody presenting a challenge by hitting the buzzer, I'll ask you whether you'd like to let the question go to them, whether you'd like to reject the challenge, or you'd like to accept the challenge and give me the answer for yourself. If you do that, please note there's a +10 and -5 for a wrong answer. And if you get it wrong, I pass it to the challenger. For them also, same thing, +10, -5. They get it wrong, I pass it to somebody else on the buzzer. 2 buzzers allowed after the challenger. It's for +5 and -5. But if there's no challenge, the direct participant can just give me the answer without the fear of negatives. If you're correct, I'll give you 10. If you're not correct, I won't give you any points. But if there's somebody on the buzzer, I will pass it to them. 2 buzzers allowed for +5 and -5. Remember, if you want to present a challenge to the direct participant, you must hit the buzzer in the first 10 seconds after I'm done reading the question. Otherwise, and also only if you think you know every part of the question correctly. If you don't know every part of the question correctly, please don't hit the buzzer, please don't challenge, or please don't even accept the challenge if you're the direct participant, because there are going to be no part points, right? So please ensure that you do not hit the buzzer if you only know half the answer. But it's totally your decision. Maybe you want to take a guess on the second part. It's your call. But I will only distribute points if you give me the complete answer. I hope that's clear. So we'll start. First question, common. Oh, sorry, not common. But first question, a direct to Ayush. Ayush, if you can unmute. And others, you're on the buzzer. Here is my question. Last year, due to X's quicker emergence from the pandemic than Y, various think tanks advanced their prediction for a certain flip. Both the Japan Center for Economic Research and London Center for Economics and Business Research expected this flip to take place in 2028 and not 2036 and 2033 respectively, that they had earlier suggested and predicted. But this year's forecast by them, they've toned down the predictions for the flip. JCR thinks it's 2033, CBR thinks 2030. Whose rise to the top? So whose X, their rise to the top, fueled by flood of capital, buoying their currency and their size of the economy? And in what list is this flip expected? So I'm looking for a certain flip between which 2? The one who's likely to go from number 2 to number 1, their rise to the top is fueled by a flood of capital, buoying their currency and the size of the economy. There's nobody presenting a challenge. Ayush, you can give me the answer without the fear of negatives. 10 if you're correct. It's open on the buzzer still. I need an answer now, Ayush.
So I'll say X is X is Africa and Y is Asia.
Okay. And in what is this flip expected?
So the fastest growing economies.
So Asia will become the fastest growing economy as opposed to Africa. All right. That's not the answer. You're not right on any part. I will tell you what the answer is. The answer that I was looking for is China overtaking US as the world's largest economy. So the biggest, highest GDP will be right now it is of US, but it is expected that that's a flip that's going to soon happen. They earlier said that it will be in 2028, seeing China emerging quickly from out of the pandemic and US being a lot slower. But then again, China following the zero COVID policy, they've become a lot more worried about China that they will not flip US. But the flip is imminent, right? So nobody's saying that the flip won't happen. The flip is imminent. China will become the world's largest economy if things don't change drastically all over again. That's the answer that I was looking for. No points to anybody. Next question will be a direct to Anand. Anand, if you're ready. Here's my question. Others on the buzzer. While we're aware of the Surrey Nanosystems creation, that is the excess X from 2014, that sucks up much of the light spectrum, 99.965% of the ultraviolet, visible, and infrared light. Last year, Purdue University announced barium sulfate that can potentially reduce the need for climate-unfriendly air conditioners, since it is the YSY and thus acts as a coolant. On the opposing ends of the spectrum, what are X and Y? You have a challenge coming from Ayush. What do you want to do, Anand? Anand, take a decision.
I will try to answer it.
All right, plus 10, minus 5. Anand, what's your answer?
Yeah, I think it's blackest black, the X is. And whitest white, something like that.
X is blackest black and Y is whitest white.
Yeah.
Is perfect. That's the answer. Very good answer that I was looking for. Absolutely. Anand wasn't too sure of the second part, but clearly worked it out from the clues that were there.
I was sure about blackest black. I was not sure about this whitest white thing.
Yeah, so that's why I said on the opposing ends of the spectrum, right? So you can thank me for that clue, Anand. And also for the 10 points. And also for the 10 points that come with it. That's well done. Right. So barium sulfate is, whitest white paint. So as you can see, it's not like I've cropped something in either of the two images. On the left is Vanta black, the blackest black, and on the right is the whitest white. That's barium sulfate. That's well done, Anand. Very well worked out. Gets you a plus 10 as a result. And now to the next one. That is Subhasish. Subhasish, if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a look at the visual first, then I'll ask the question. That's the visual. On the bottom, it says, this is a major conspiracy. Okay. Now, my question. This ad campaign was centered around an embarrassing controversy. After consulting the Getty stock photo library, Starbucks cafes, in-flight magazines of several international airlines, the souvenir globes at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, they found a certain pattern and became suspicious of a major conspiracy. Who's this lady? That's one part. And secondly, which issue was being addressed through this ad that successfully led to a 5% increase in bookings to the country? There is a challenge coming from Ayush. Subhasish.
I'll accept the challenge.
So you will answer?
Yeah. She's the
so plus 10, minus 5. Subhasish, what is your answer?
She is the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and Jacinta Ardern, and New Zealand not being in the maps of the globe, in the maps, not being shown in the globe maps. Sorry.
You want to repeat the second part again?
New Zealand not being shown in the maps, world map.
Why is it not shown in the maps?
sorry, I don't know that. I know the funda.
But you're saying that you've seen quite a few maps in
Yeah,
Starbucks
yeah.
cafes, in in-flight magazines, and souvenir globes at Smithsonian Air and Space Museum, where there is no New Zealand. That is indeed correct. Absolutely. She's the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, who appeared in this ad because generally what happens is because, it's on one side of Australia, very small, and people tend to forget including New Zealand when they create maps from scratch. And so they found out that New Zealand tends to be missed in various maps. And so they came up with this ad campaign, which was essentially talking about there is a major conspiracy about wiping off New Zealand from the face of the earth. And so the campaign was around putting New Zealand back on the map. Absolutely. Well done there, Subhasish. That's a good answer. Complete answer gets you a +10. Right. Very well done. Next question is going to be for Rishi. Rishi, if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right. Here's your question. Others on the buzzer. In a recent World Bank report, it was identified that India topped the charts as the world's biggest foreign remittance recipient, over $100 billion. Which state, now that's first part, which state has more than doubled its remittance share in the last 5 years and thus has the biggest remittance share for India at around 35%? That's part one. And second part, which country tops the list of NRI contributions to India? Interestingly, both these factors signal India's shift from exporting blue-collar workers to the Middle East to white-collar workers in high-income countries in the West. So your two parts are one, which state is the biggest foreign remittance earner? And two is which country sends in the most monies to India? There is no challenge, Rishi. So I will ask you to give me an answer without the fear of negatives.
Okay, I'll guess one is Karnataka and another is Kerala.
Sorry, one is a state and the other is which country tops the list of NRI contributions to India? So you've given me two states.
Okay.
I'm looking for one state, one country.
Sorry. The first one is Kerala and another country I think is Canada.
All right, that's not the answer, but no negatives. Question passes on the buzzer to Subhasish for +5, -5.
The state is Kerala and the country is US.
Subhasish, I can't hear you. You'll have to repeat.
The state, I think, is Kerala and the country is US.
Okay.
And the country is
State
US.
is Kerala and country is US.
US.
Right, that is incorrect. That's a -5 there, Subhasish, but a brave attempt there. Because the fact that I have this question in the first place is because I've already said that, both these factors signal India's shift from exporting blue-collar workers to the Middle East. So we're all familiar with how Kerala the Gulf countries have a huge Kerala diaspora that exists, but Kerala is not number one anymore, right? It's another state. And so the fact that this state is now number one is a signal, is an indication that we are now exporting white-collar workers in high-income countries. So, Basish, you're right about US, but you're not right about the state. The state is now Maharashtra, which is 35% of India's foreign remittance. So we're at about $100 billion, so approximately $35 billion. Maharashtra is responsible. We're exporting more of white-collar workers as opposed to blue-collar workers, which predominantly earlier were going from Kerala. Right. So unfortunately, Subhasish, I'll have to give you a negative. That's a -5 following that +10 that you got on the previous question. And now I will move on to our next one. That's going to be for Rohan. Rohan, if you're ready, please unmute. Right. Here's your question, Rohan. Others on the buzzer. For faster fundraising and more favorable taxation norms, the Indian startup community is known to follow a certain practice. However, that is changing, albeit slowly, with a certain company or a certain startup being the first major company reversing this trend while also trying to demerge from its parent, Flipkart. But this comes with a significant LTCG, long-term capital gains for its investors. What move and which company am I speaking of? Don't answer right now, Rohan. Just wait a few seconds. Now, Rishi has shown and interest in challenging you. So Rohan, what do you want to do? What move and which company that's also trying to demerge from its parent Flipkart? Yes, Rohan, what do you want to do?
Let him answer.
You let him answer. Rishi, what's your answer?
Well, the X I think is phone pay, and the move is I think floating an IPO.
Floating an IPO, and the company you said is
Phone pay.
all right. That's not the right answer. That's a -5. Rishi, question goes back to Rohan. +5 if correct. No negative.
I'll say PhonePe, and it is getting additional people as co-founders and giving them stock options, which basically leads to when it vests, therefore the long-term capital gains of the appreciated shares.
Got it. That's not the right answer there, Rohan. No negatives though. There's nobody else on the buzzer. Both of you got the company correct. So that's PhonePe that's trying to demerge from Flipkart and Walmart and all that. But the move that I'm looking for is essentially quite literally a move, right? So that was deliberate, is shifting base to India from outside. So generally a lot of startups attempt to, sort of have their base or headquarters in a different country for, like I said, Dubai, Singapore, etc., for faster fundraising, access to bigger capital. But now what PhonePe is doing is trying to come back to India, but that comes with a rider for its investors, the original investors. They'll have to pay some long-term capital gains tax on that. So that was the move that I was looking for. No points to anybody. Next question, the final one for this round will go to Rahul. Rahul, you've been uncharacteristically silent. What's up? Okay, hopefully this one will break the trend for you. I'll show you a visual. Take a look at the visual. The question follows. All right, there'll be something missing in the visual also. You see, basically, one of the answers is to fill that in with someone. All right. Here's my question for you, Rahul. Others on the buzzer. So someone bottom row, middle 2012, 2013 is missing. And there's somebody else on the right. Okay, here is my question. Nonita, the lady that you saw on the right, is a former amateur golfer married to Pakistani golfer Faisal Qureshi. Her sister doesn't share her enthusiasm in the field of sports, but instead had a fine academic career, a qualified CA. She is the first Indian woman to graduate from Harvard Business School. Identify one, the illustrious sister of Nonita, and of which industry body was she the president in 2012-2013? There is a challenge coming for you, Rahul, by Rohan.
I'll let him answer.
You let him answer. Rohan, give me both parts. Who's the sister and what industry body was she the president?
I'd say is Naina Lal Kidwai, and the industry body is FICCI.
FICCI and Naina Lal Kidwai is absolutely perfect. That's the answer there, Rohan. It is indeed Naina Lal Kidwai and FICCI alongside. She's been a president alongside many other business leaders, as you can see on your screen. Well, that's it. That's the end of round 2. A flash of space, a dash of brilliance. And Rohan takes a full tenor for that challenge, made full use of it. And that means the halftime whistle goes as the North Zone completes 2 rounds. They've all accumulated some points for their individual treasuries. It's not full, but at least they have something to spend, as we'll see on the scoreboard, but that will wait. For now, it is Christmas season, and I'm the one bearing gifts for our audience who will give the right answer. So audience, here's a question for you. The UK government recently decided to fund a project to launch mini nuclear reactors, which was being funded by a consortium of investors. The company which has designed this reactor claims that it will harness decades of British engineering, design, and manufacturing know-how to roll out the first of its mini reactors, which are based on a similar technology used to propel nuclear submarines. Which company is this? I'll concise the question. UK government recently deciding to fund a project to launch mini nuclear reactors funded by a consortium of investors. And The company which has designed this reactor is basically British, and they'll be using this based on a similar technology used to propel nuclear submarines. Which company is this? I take about 5-10 seconds. Please go to Twitter on this very question. Just below it, respond with your answers alongside hashtag Udaan 2022. I'll take about 5-10 seconds, give you about 5-10 seconds for you to come back. And then we'll start with taking a look at the scores. And then, of course, our following 2 rounds. Right, welcome back. So we'll continue and see where these participants stand in this group of death, as I called it earlier. Let's take a look at the scores after 2 rounds. Right, at this point, we have Rohan who's leading. He's given 3 fine answers, and as a result of which he's currently leading. He's on 30. Then closely following him on his heels is Anand from Sale Bokaro. He's on 20. Then is Subhasish, who's on 15. And then there is some distance and some more intention that is needed from Rahul and Ayush, both of them yet to open their account, and Rishi on a -5 after 2 rounds. That's where we stand. This group of death is living up to the reputation. Not much to separate, however, our contestants, but some discrepancy helps in how I organize them. In our next round, it's round number 3, and it's called Paired, Impaired. In this round, I will pair you up on the basis of scores, and I'll tell you how we'll go about it. Each participant gets a direct question. You have 15 seconds of time to give me the answer, and then I pass the question to whoever you're paired with. They will accept or reject or pass. And if I still don't have a right answer, I go to somebody else on the buzzer for +5 and -5. But to the 2 participants who I've paired with each other, one of you is direct, the other one's paired. I ask a question, direct participant gives me the answer. They don't get 10 immediately. I will first pass the question to their paired participant. They accept or reject. The answer was correct and they accept it. The direct participant gets 10, the paired participant gets a 5. If, however, the answer was incorrect and the paired participant accepts it, both of you get a -5. Question goes on the buzzer, +5, -5, 2 buzzers allowed. And if, however, the answer was correct and the paired participant rejects it, so +10 to the direct participant, -5 to the paired participant. And if the answer was wrong, -5 to the direct participant. The paired participant can reject it and then give me a right answer for +10 if they are right. If they're wrong with their, supposedly a correct answer or changed answer, that will be a -5 to them, and question again goes to somebody else on the buzzer. Very importantly, because there's a negative attached to a wrong answer, you can pass the question as a direct or the paired participant, but you cannot pass on the buzzer. If you'd like to pass, you might as well not hit the buzzer. If you do that on the buzzer, I'll give you a negative anyway, right? So please don't hit the buzzer and say pass, but passing is an option that is available to both the direct and the paired participant. You listen to the direct participant's answer, you're unsure, you can just say pass, it's fine. I won't give you a negative, but I won't give you a positive either because you haven't participated on that question. Right, our first pair will be Rohan, who's currently leading, alongside Anand, who's currently second. Then our next pair is going to be Subhasish and Ayush. And our final pair is going to be Rahul and Rishi. So first up is going to be Rohan and Anand. I request both of you to please unmute. And others, you run the buzzer. Here's my question to you, Rohan. So now in this round, there are no multi-part questions, so it's just one part. You listen to that answer, Anand, from Rohan, and if you like it, you accept it. If you don't like it, you can reject it and give me another one. But if you don't like it, but still can't give me another one, then might as well just pass it. Here's my question. Rohan, this is for you. The hilly plains of Novara Elia, located in Sri Lanka, were transformed into a functioning city by the British colonizers during the 19th century. Steeped in history and mythology, this place is regarded as the heart of the tea industry of the tiny island nation. One of the prime reasons that propel this industry to flourish is the characteristic black soil of the area. And as per local belief, what devastating reason is attributed to the color of the soil? Why is the soil black? As per local belief, steeped in history and mythology. Rohan, can I have an answer? Or not? Because there's a negative. Quick, Rohan, take a decision.
Pass.
You'll pass. Anand, do you have an answer of your own? Plus 10, minus 5?
I shall try.
Sure.
Yeah, this might be Lanka Dahan done by Hanuman, the Lord Hanuman.
Is correct. That's the answer. Steeped in mythology and history, resulted from the ashes of the city of Ravan burned down by Hanuman. It's a good answer there, Anand. In fact, all the remaining 4 participants were interested for this question on the buzzer. But Anand, by virtue of being the paired participant, got this one for him since Rohan did not attempt. So that's 10 points to Anand. And what's more, Anand, you now get a direct question. And Rohan, you are still paired with him. So you listen to his answer and decide accordingly. So here's my question to Anand, everybody else except Rohan on the buzzer. In 2009, the Wired magazine attempted to deduce the formula of what versatile compound that over-delivers has been present in the US Aerospace Hall of Fame, sending it to a lab for analysis. And you can see the visual with all the components. That's what they came up with. It was mostly a mix of baby oil, Vaseline, and the goop inside, homemade lava lamps, and some types of alkanes. That's what Wired magazine said. This is the formula. This is what they came up with. Deducing the formula of what versatile compound? Compound that sort of under promises and over delivers. Right, Anand, I need an answer.
I will pass.
You'll pass. Rohan, do you have an answer of your own? Plus 10, minus 5?
No, pass.
Nothing. There's nobody on the buzzer. The answer that I was looking for, like I said, it's a compound that under promises, does so much more than it promises, is WD-40 is what I was looking for, right? No points to anybody. Generally used for corrosion and rust and all that, but it can be used for quite a few other things. Some people say it can also treat back pain. No points to anyone. Next question will be for the next pair, and that's going to be Subhasish and Ayush. If I can request both of you to please unmute. Right, Subhasish, you'll go first. Here's my question, others on the buzzer. Marketed in 1930s with the name X-rated, a name chosen. X is not a variable. No, it's not. I've not hidden something. It was called X-rated. A name chosen probably as a stab at the motion picture production code. The products were initially designed for ladies to heighten their beauty in the black and white film era. What product category did this person that you see in the visual launch with that incredibly scandalous name? So what product did he launch with the brand name X-rated? It's a very generic product now, but it was originally created by him with the name X-rated. Vasish, do you have an answer?
Yeah, I think it's Revlon.
Your answer is?
Revlon.
Ayush? Yeah, Ayush, accept, reject, pass.
Pass.
Quick, Ayush.
Pass.
Passing. Subhashish, that's a wrong answer. That's a -5. Question goes to Rohan. +5 and -5.
I'll say lipstick.
Oh, lipstick. No, that's not the lipstick. That's a -5. Rohan, he did not come up with the lipstick. He came up with something else that's very close, but not lipstick. It's the lip gloss. He came up with the lip gloss and not the lipstick. Lipsticks have been around since the ancient Chinese. so can't give it to you for lip gloss. And he is Max Factor. You're all familiar with who he is. So that's a -5 to Rohan, a -5 to Subhasish. I will move on to the next question. That's going to be for Ayush. Ayush, you're direct. Subhasish, you're paired with him. Here's my question. TDI has a history that dates back millennia, especially for spiritual practices. The night before the 2021 Super Bowl, Coors, the beer brand, they conducted a new kind of advertising with TDI. TDI is a concept, and if you know the expansion, you will know the answer. And in 2021, Future of Marketing survey of 400 marketeers from various US firms found that 3/4 aim to deploy such advertising technologies by 2025. What are such dystopian ads designed to infiltrate? So essentially, you have to tell me what's the D here. What are such dystopian ads designed to infiltrate? If you saw the Super Bowl last year, Coors did this advertising the night before. All right, Ayush, I need an answer. Or pass?
Pass.
Passing. Subhasish.
I'll pass. I'll pass.
Okay, Subhasish, you also hit the buzzer.
Yeah, no, I was checking. I was checking the buzzer. I was checking the buzzer.
Okay, which is meaningless though, because it was anyway coming to you, but you're passing it. That's fine. There's nobody else on the buzzer. TDI basically stands for targeted blank incubation or infiltration. There are various names for it. Like I said, spiritual practices. So targeting something in spiritual practices. The D here, the question said the night before is dreams. Right, so dystopian ads, they want to target your dreams as well. So you start seeing branded dreams with brands in them. That's what Coors did. So they had an ad the night before the Super Bowl. So you think about Coors, in the build up to the Super Bowl. So that's no negative to anyone. Yeah, no points to anyone, no negative to anyone. Nobody answered this. So this was dreams. We will move on to our next pair. And that's going to be Rahul and Rishi. Rahul goes first. Rishi, you're paired with him. If you can please unmute Rishi. Right, here's my question, Rahul. Others on the buzzer. Being incubated at IIT Madras is this Desi alternative to a British Dubai joint venture who earlier this year tweaked their interest from something to cargo. They blamed global supply chain issues for this change. My question is, what is being talked about that was first dreamt? Now, this is just a follow-up. It's nothing to do with dreams though. But that was first thought of or dreamt in the 1870s with a test system in Manhattan. So it's a Desi alternative to a British Dubai joint venture, which is kind of uncertain. Nobody really knows what's happening. They're saying that, we'll now switch to cargo. And they're blaming global supply chain issues for this change. What am I speaking of? What is this Desi alternative to? Right. I need an answer, Rahul.
The pass.
Or not, you can say pass. Passing?
Yes.
Right. To Rishi, are you trying?
Pass as well.
You'll pass it as well. There's nobody on the buzzer. Another question goes begging. The answer that I was looking for, the British Dubai joint venture being a joint venture between Virgin and DP World. DP World, we saw as a sponsor at Asia Cup, was the Hyperloop. So this is Avishkar Hyperloop. That's something that's being incubated in IIT Madras. And, the Hyperloop that was being planned or was going to come up in Maharashtra as well as Karnataka, they both said that, we won't transport passengers, we'll transport cargo. And, but I don't think the government is buying the idea of transporting cargo so quickly. Right. So that's no points to anybody. So this is Hyperloop. And we will move on to our final question for this round. That's going to go to Rishi. Rishi, you're on the direct. Here's my question. Sahara's sponsorship of the Indian cricket team was in jeopardy in 2002 and 2003 as ICC considered Sahara to be a rival of one of the main tournament sponsors of the 2003 World Cup, which is South African Airways. A compromise was reached by allowing Sahara to advertise which flagship project in lieu of its own name. Rishi. So what flagship project was Sahara advertising? Sahara owned an airline. So because South Africa Airways was a sponsor, so they weren't allowed to have their names. All right, I need an answer now, Rishi, or maybe you can pass.
Pass, I'll pass.
Passing. Rahul, do you have an answer?
No, I'll pass as well.
No, you'll pass, and I will go to Rohan.
Ambi Valley.
Right, Rohan remembers the unfortunate final. This is indeed Ambi Valley. As you can see on their forearm, it is Ambi Valley, and that's the Ambi Valley in Maharashtra as well. That Sahara was building, is still there. So that's the answer. So instead of using Sahara as the name, they were using Ambi Valley when they were the sponsor of the Indian cricket team. It's a good answer there, Rohan. Gets you a +5 on that one. And that brings us to the end of round 3 as well. Tough terrain, this North Zone final. They've all been very consistent. Like I said, 5 of the 6 have been here previously in the last round, zonal final that took place last year. And now they're back. One new entrant who's really not a new entrant. He's been here in 2020 as well. So it's a familiar territory for each one of them. Their reputation actually precedes them, and the scores just obediently followed. We will take a look at the scores, but before that, I have a question for the audience. All right, audience, here's a question for you. So in 2012, 2 researchers at the Museum of Innovation and Science in New York, using leading edge 3D imaging technology, digitized the contents of a 134-year-old 5x15 piece of tinfoil that was Edison's first phonograph recording. The contents included a short cornet solo, interludes of laughter, and a man reciting what nursery rhyme? So your answer is a nursery rhyme that was one of the contents of the original content that was digitized. That was the tinfoil of Edison's first phonograph. So what nursery rhyme that was being recited by someone? That's your answer. Please head to Twitter under the very same question. Please send in your response alongside hashtag Udaan 2022, and I'll wait for you for about 10 seconds. Right, welcome back. We'll take a look at the scores heading into the final round after the penultimate round. So this is what the scoreboard looks like. As you can see, Rohan's purposeful rise to the top is not solitary. He is joined by Anand, who's also both of them on 30 points each, and some distance away Subhasish with quite a few negatives there. He goes back to 10. Ayush and Rahul, they maintain their score of 0, which isn't something that they'll be too happy about. And neither would be Rishi, who is currently on -5. So it's 30, 30, 10, 0, 0, and -5. Those are the scores. As we move on to our final showdown for the North Zone final, it's round number 4, and it's called Triple Trouble. I will be giving you 5 questions, all on the buzzer. There's 15 seconds of time that you will have after I'm done reading the question. However, if you interrupt me while I'm still reading the question, I will stop right there and I will ask you to unmute and give me your answer. Please don't ask me to complete the question, because the fact that you've hit the buzzer already means that you know the answers. There's no need for me to continue to read the question. Tell me what your answer is. If that's correct, I'll give you points. If that's incorrect, I take away points. However, even before giving me the answer, after hitting the buzzer, when I take your name, you can unmute and then tell me whether you'd like to step up or step down. If you decide to step up, I'll give you a +20 if you're correct. But if you decide to step down, I will still give you points if you're correct, but that's only going to be 5. There's a -2 for a wrong answer on a step down, -10 on a wrong answer on a step up. But if you don't say anything or you forget to say step up or step down before your answer, I'll consider it to be default. That's +10 and -5. Remember, you have to say step up or step down before you give me the answer, not after. If you do that after, I will consider it only for default. There are 3 buzzers per question, so 3 different individuals can attempt on the same question, provided it passes from one to the next, and all 3 of you have the same options. You can step up, step down, or play default. That's totally up to you. Right then, final round, 5 questions coming, 100 points to be won. Still is anybody's game. We will begin with our first question on your screen, and also very importantly, you will only see the visual and a very small part of the text, which basically gives you a direction in which you need to answer. So just that. Rest of the clues I will read out, but if you interrupt me, then I won't read them. All right. Here's my first of 5 questions common to everyone. In August this year, in which city was this dream unfulfilled? I'm still continuing on that dream track. On the buzzer is Rahul from Sale Bokaro. Yes, Rahul.
I'll step up.
You'll step up.
I'll say it's Noida, and it's about Noida Twin Tower demolition.
Your answer is Noida, and it's about the Noida Twin Tower demolition. I'll complete in August this year. In which city was the dream unfulfilled? Thanks to a task assigned to the South African and Mumbai-based companies whose logo you see here. Your answer is Noida, and it's the Twin Tower demolition. You stepped up. That is correct. That's the answer. That's well done, Rahul. Gets you a +20, a very crucial +20. Such fine are the margins here that brings Rahul in touching distance to the 2 joint leaders at this point. But there are still 4 questions to go. Still is anybody's game. 80 points to be won. Here's question number 2. In 1971, this modular sofa championed total freedom of form and function. Starting with 3 basic elements that can be stacked together, it allowed the user limitless options of composition. On the buzzer is Ayush. Yes, Ayush.
I'll step up
You'll step up.
and say Tetris.
Tetris. I'm afraid, Ayush, that is incorrect. That's a -10 there, Ayush. I will pass the question to the next on the buzzer, and that is Rohan.
I'll say tic-tac-toe.
You will say tic-tac-toe. You did not decide to step up or step down. The answer is not tic-tac-toe. That is a -5, Rohan. I will complete. Starting with 3 basic elements that can be stacked together, it allowed the user limitless options of composition: armchair, sofa, lounge chair, bed, or living space. This much-loved design set the standard for what sofa could be more than 50 years ago, and was inspired by what game? Still open for one more participant on the buzzer. Perhaps somebody might want to just step down, just get a few points, may feel nice about themselves, exactly like Rishi tried. Yes, Rishi, what do you want to do?
Okay, I'll step up. I think it's
You will
Lego.
step up. Oh, you're not stepping down. All right, you're stepping up. What's your answer?
I think it's Lego.
Your answer is?
Lego.
Lego. It's not Tetris. It's not tic-tac-toe. It's not Lego either. This is Mahjong. Right? So this is Mahjong is what I was looking for. It's called the Mahjong sofa. Right? Arranging those tiles exactly like that Chinese game. So that's a step up, Rishi. So that's a -10. Step up, Ayush. That's a -10. And Rohan, you didn't say anything. So that's a -5. Right. 3 questions remain. Here's number 3. He was an inventor and manufacturer. His major invention in the 1920s was a sales aid that ensured more accurate fittings. On the buzzer is Rohan.
I'll step up.
You will step up and you will say?
I'll say this is the Brannock, or the shoe or the foot measuring device for shoes, etc.
Brannock for the shoe measuring device. I'll complete. He also developed specially calibrated devices for the various branches of the military, which issued millions of utilities to servicemen, especially during the Second World War. Though there were competing measuring devices on the market, the device quickly became the industry standard and is still used worldwide. What was this eponymous device? Rohan decided to step up. Rohan said Brannock. Rohan said for shoe measuring, and I say plus 20. That is a very, very important plus 20 there, Rohan, on the back of a couple of negatives that he collected. But this time he gets a plus 20. That's a wonderful answer there. A plus 20 to Rohan. With 2 questions remaining. Here is number 4. Riding the wave last year was Fortune, who ranked the 50 most influential builders, creatives, and influencers on what scene. And because that scene is, quite predictably dead, there is no 2022 list. What are they building? On the buzzer first is Rishi.
Okay, I'll step down.
You will step down. Plus 5 minus 2.
The list of self-made billionaires.
List of?
Self-made billionaires.
Self-made billionaires. I'm afraid, Rishi, that's not correct. That's a minus 2 because you stepped down. I'll pass the question to the next on the buzzer, and that's going to be Ayush. Ayush?
I'll step up.
Step up.
Say Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, 50 most influential builders, creatives, and influencers in Clubhouse. I'm afraid, Ayush, that's not correct. You decided to step up, and I clearly understand why that's the case. It's the pressure of the scoreboard. There's no point taking singles when you need 36 of 6 balls. So Ayush, that's a minus 10 there, and a minus 2 to Rishi. The answer that I was looking for, the first 2 individuals whose named I've removed, or the first 2 elements whose named I've removed. The first one was Beeple. The second one is CryptoPunks. And this is the, I don't know how to pronounce it, but perhaps NFT 50 or a Nifty 50, like the Indian index, who knows? But anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to make a comeback, and will they have a 2022 list, especially with the, quite predictably NFTs not doing anything at all. So that's a minus 10 to Ayush, a minus 2 to Rishi. And before we move on, I would like to take a look at where we are on the scores, just so that, we're clear about we don't have an anticlimactic end. If, however, it is pretty clear about where this quiz is headed, I will allow everybody to take part in the last question. But if somebody's qualification is riding on that one question, I will have to ask a few of you to not be a part of that last question. So just give me a moment as I see where we are on the scoreboard. Right, so at this point, the cutoff for second place is 30, which means Ayush at minus 20. It's way beyond now. 2 years zonal champion, 2 years national runner-up, will not be a part of the national final this year, but very well played there, Ayush. And also Rishi, I'll have to ask you to not be a part of the last question, because no matter what you do, you cannot impact the top 2. And yeah, and I think everybody else is still well within their mathematical rights to play the last question. All right, so essentially the cutoff is 30, which is where Anand is at, and Subhasish is currently at 10, and he's currently placed 4th, and Rahul is at 20. He's currently placed 3rd, and Rohan is currently leading at 45. So, it's totally up to you whether you want to. So perhaps for Rohan, maybe you want to protect his lead, can hit the buzzer and protect his lead, or he can let the others fight for that second place. But if he allows that to happen, then Anand might overtake him, which doesn't mean that Rohan wouldn't qualify. Rohan would still qualify, but he would be second, and slightly lesser prize money. So it's totally your decision what you'd like to do, right? So all four of you in the game, all four of you would be allowed to hit the buzzer. I will allow Ayush and also Rishi to hit the buzzer. You can hit the buzzer too. But if any of the other four hit the buzzer after you, but within time, I will give them precedence for giving the answer. But you can end on a high or something like that. It's totally your call. Right. Here's my question common to everybody, specifically to the top four, the final one for the North Zone final. Here it is. With which brand would you connect these clues? On the buzzer first is Rahul. Rahul? Rahul, I need an answer. Can you an answer?
I'll step down and say brand Akshay Patra movie.
You said step down. I need an answer.
Akshay Patra.
All right. That's not correct. That's a -2, Rahul. I'll pass the question. There's Rishi, but I'll wait. Rishi, we'll hold on to you. I will move it on to Subhasish. Yes, Subhasish.
I'll step up and say Colgate.
What is your answer, please?
Colgate. Colgate.
Colgate. I'm afraid that's not correct. Subhasish, that's a -10 because you stepped up. And now I will go to Rishi. All right, Rishi, what's your answer?
I think
Come on, Rishi.
I think it's from the house of Lakhani.
All right, from the house of Lakhani. You haven't stepped up, you haven't stepped down, but either way, was only for the record. So that's not correct, but you're not too wrong, right, Rishi? You got it. You were on the right track. So that's a -5, however. Rishi, that's a -5 to you. Rahul, I don't know why you decided to step down. Irrespective of whether you knew the answer or not, you had to say step up first. And the rest of the thinking process around the question had to follow. So, but since you stepped down, so it's a -2. And Subhasish, you stepped up, rightly so, because you were challenging Anand for that second spot. So that's a -10 because you got it wrong. Rishi said from the house of Lakhani, and I said he's not too wrong. The answer that I was looking for was Relaxo, right? So that's Boston, Flight, Mary Jane, Casual, Bahamas, Flag of Bahamas, and the various brands from the house of Relaxo, right? Not Lakhani. Okay, then that brings us to the end of the North Zone final. Beautiful quizzing, a wonderful exhibition of grit and determination. Thank you for satiating our desire for a fiercely competitive evening of quizzing. That is exactly what we were looking forward to. We will take one final look at the scores and identify the winners and qualifiers into the national final, but that will have to wait. For now, I have a question for the audience. Right, audience, here's my question for you. Microsoft introduced this game to a whole new generation with a hidden agenda to acquaint the users with the drag and drop function of the mouse, not just to provide entertainment. So they created this game so that they could teach people how to use the drag and drop function of the mouse. What game is this by Microsoft? Please head over to Twitter and give your answer below this very question where it's posted, and come back alongside the hashtag Udaan 2022. Don't forget that, and come back. And when you come back, we'll take a look at the scores. Right, welcome back to taking a final look at the scoreboard at the end of the North Zone final. We will take a final look at the scoreboard. So when we started this quiz, I said that the zonal final is a hurdle that Rohan has struggled to steer past, and perhaps today is the day that he steers past, which is exactly what he did. His surge to the top continued round after round, but the resilient display by the others meant that there was, slight bit of hesitation even towards the end. And but no matter, we had a fine competition, a tough competition, a competition that we were hoping and expecting to see here at the North Zone final. And in the end, the King of the North in 2020 and 2021 isn't the King of the North in 2022. It is Rohan Khanna from Barclays with a fine performance, winning with a score of 45. And he's followed by Anand Raj from Sale Bokaro with a score of 30. Both their eyes are now set on bigger ambitions now. Congratulations to both of you, both Anand as well as Rohan. Our appointment is due at the national final. This is it then. I hope you had your brains picked with those audience questions that you gave answers to on Twitter. This was the 12th Udaan Business Leadership Quiz organized by Steel Authority of India Limited, National HRD Network Ranchi Chapter, and National HRD Network in association with IILM University. Well, it was an ultimate zonal final, a one for the ages, and we expect nothing less from the next zonal final. It's from a zone that has given us our national champion last year and the year before. South zones always thin with numbers, but thick. In fact, the thickest with quality. And I look forward to you joining again tomorrow for it. For now, on behalf of the entire Udaan organizing team, I hope we could bear off your Monday blues. You have a fabulous week ahead. Goodbye for now.